they do have expectations in this process. It's not like they come to us completely wide open for whatever it is that we bring ourselves. Guys, one of the things that I've talked about a lot is how the women are incredibly gracious to us guys who get on the plane and go halfway around the world to meet somebody without necessarily being able to speak their language. So again, we take completely for granted the fact that we're getting on a plane and going to someone's country to meet them, court them, fall in love, and find a life partner in this process without necessarily spending a whole lot of time learning the language. Now, we know how we feel about people who come to our country, and there are all kinds of polarizing issues around that. But the reality is the women are very, very forgiving of that. They absolutely are okay with us not knowing their language. We have ways to communicate, resources and such. But, they do have expectations in this process. It's not like they come to us completely wide open for whatever it is that we bring ourselves, their expectations in this process. And I don't know that those are ever communicated to you guys, so let's talk a little bit about that so that you will know how to interact with these women successfully. What do women in this process want? What are their expectations? I've asked hundreds and hundreds of foreign women from all over the world that question in the past 10 years. And what essentially these women will say in response to that is, I want whatever I have right now plus the guy. So a lot of these women join us because they live in a place where it's difficult to either find a life partner or to find a monogamous life partner. And they'll tell us, my life here, contrary to what you may have heard from in your media, is fine. I work long hours perhaps for low pay, but I do work and I have a steady income and I have a place to live. I have access to health care when I need it or if my child needs it. My child has education, a promising education. I can pay the bills. I'm not looking over my shoulder at any creditors or anything like that. If I want to go out to dinner occasionally, I can afford to do that. If I want to go on a little bit of a vacation here and there, I can do that. Pretty much whatever I want to do most of the time within reason can be accomplished. I just don't have the guy. So here's something else actually that women in this process want. They want to experience a courtship and a love relationship at a very realistic pace. And this is something that trips a lot of guys up because a lot of the work that we do here at A Foreign Affair, when we reach out and talk to the guys and when we're coaching the guys who are going on our romance tours, certainly a lot of the stuff that I put in my book and that we dedicate our blogs and our webcasts and our conferences to is to show you guys that these are very real women who are not poor, dumb, and desperate like our media wants us to believe that they are. They're not living in mud huts. They're not waiting for some Neanderthal to come over and throw them on his back across the Bering Straits to America. Contrary to what the media would have us believe, that is nothing like the women that you're going to meet in this process, who are typically educated, quite intelligent, very self-respecting, very capable, resourceful women, right? But they want to fall in love, but that has to happen at a natural process. Let's talk about what women don't want or don't expect. I'll tell you right now, guys, women in this process, typically the vast majority of them are going to want to fall in love and to get married and to have an honest relationship, as I mentioned before. They're not so much into pen pals, right? So, there are a lot of guys that write letters. I've said it many, many times. 90% of the tens of thousands of men who write letters will never get on a plane and go and meet anybody. But in reality, guys, if men are going to write letters to the women, and the women are only going to receive letters and not have a chance to meet somebody, well, that's a pen pal situation, and women in this process are not looking for a pen pal. They are looking for a life partner. Yes, they will absolutely write to you and use correspondence as a tool, but they're not going to write for a year or 2 years at a time. They definitely want something to come of that correspondence and all the time and effort that they're putting into it, especially if they don't speak English as a primary language. So, guys, it's on us after several months of correspondence to make the decision, pen pal, keyboard Romeo, or foreign bride, life mate finder, and we have to come to that crossroads and make the decision to move forward because women in this process will hang out with us in correspondence for a little while, but at some point they definitely want to move on. Women in this process do not want casual relationships. Women in this process aren't looking for intimacy with a guy just for the sake of intimacy with the guy. The reality is they want a husband, they want a responsible life mate, they want a monogamous spouse, That's why they're here. That's what we have to offer them that their local men do not. And I can tell you right now, guys, that's the vast majority of what certainly a lot of these women would expect.
You can find thousands of stunning, sincere single women serious about finding love and the perfect man for them. Join men from all over the world as they take a trip and find their future brides. Interested? Learn more at
ShenzhenWomen.com.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Then click on the notice bell to get notified every time we add something new.